Hello friends, my name is Bilal Khan and today I'm going to be talking about another chapter of the Rust book that is called the vector. So let's go to the screen and I will show you there. As you can see here that I'm present in the Visual Studio Code and these are the lessons that I have covered in my previous video. So the next thing that I'm going to do is to open a new terminal and then I will first of all create a new project, cargo new, and this is the directory name 21th, and then the vector, the package name is also going to be vector. Okay, so now if I clear this and open this vector directory inside this source directory and main.rs. So now let's close this, and now you can see here this is the main function that I'm going to delete it, and then after that I will write the what you can say definition of vector, that what the vector is, and then I will implement it in front of you. So let's write what is vector in Rust. So vector in Rust is the dynamic array. So what is dynamic array? So dynamic array is the array that whose value is fixed, whose value is not fixed, and its size can be changed. Okay, so the dynamic array is the array whose value is not fixed and its size can be changed. So when we discussed what the array was, so the array in which you have to define two things. The first thing you have to define the data type, and the second thing you have to define is the length or the size of that array, that how much data that you want in that array. So but in the dynamic array or vector, that is the dynamic array, the value is not going to be fixed. You can insert many values into it and it will not create a problem for you, and its size can be changed. It means if the value is not fixed, you can increase the size of it, and it is basically a dynamic array, right? That's what the dynamic array is. And now the next step is basically that array will be stored in the stack memory, and a vector is going to be stored in the heap memory. So basically I have discussed in my previous video that in the ownership and reference, that what the heap and the stack memory are, and if you have not watched that video, I would recommend you to watch them, and then you can understand it properly, that what the stack and what the heap is. So generally if I show you, if I define it in a simple way, that in the stack memory the value of the array will be defined, and that's why it will be stored in the stack memory. And as a result, if you want to find a particular number, or if you want to find a particular data in an array, the stack memory will help you to find the data easily. But in the vector, its case is different, because it will be stored in the heap memory, because the vector size is not defined. That's why it will be stored in the heap memory. So generally when you store the data in the heap memory, first of all it will find the empty space in the memory, and then it will allocate that data into that specific portion of the heap memory. So that's the reason that in the vector the data will be stored in the heap memory but not in the stack memory, because in the stack memory the size of that array should be defined, but the vector size is not defined. That's why it is going to be stored in the heap memory. So from this point I hope you understood that what the vector is and what the dynamic array is, and then after that I will go to the explanation and the implementation part of it, that how you can implement it. So a vector can be defined in three ways, right? So let's discuss them one by one. So the first way is going to be, let's say a function main, and then write what you can see here. You can define it like this: let data, and then you can define the data type. Okay, so the data type is going to be vector, and then inside this brackets I will write u32, and then you will write vec exclamation mark brackets 100, 200, 300, 400, something like this. Okay, so you can extend the data in it because the data type is defined here, but the size of the vector is not defined here, because you cannot like fix the size of it. Instead, the data can be extended more. That's why only the data type is defined here. Okay, so now let's print the data here. Print the data like this, and then I will write the colon question mark. So what the colon question mark is, first of all, let me run this, and then I will tell you that what this is. So let's write, go to this 21 vector directory, and then write cargo run, and you can see here the result of it 100, 200, 300, 400. Okay, so yeah, that's what the data is printed here. So now the point is this: why did I put this colon and question mark? So there are some use cases of it. Okay, so basically, if you want to debug the code, so for better readability, this question mark with colon and question mark can be put here for better readability, because it will like format the code in a proper way. And this is used for debugging the code, because if you want to debug the code, you have to print the data in a proper way so that you can understand it. Now this is the first use case, and the second use case is this: basically in some of the data types like vector, like hash map, like other thing like struct, these are some of the features of Rust in which if you want to print the data, it will not allow you to print the data by using just the empty curly braces. Instead, you have to define the colon with question mark in order to print the data from that data type, right? So it could be vector, it could be struct, it could be like hash map. So there are some data types, some features in Rust that will allow you to print the data by using colon question mark, and it will give you the error if you didn't write this thing. Okay, so yeah, these are the two things that you need to keep in mind. The first thing for debugging the code for better readability, and the second thing is that there are some data types and features that will allow you to print the data by using this colon question mark, and it will give you the error if you didn't write this. Okay, now let's say if I want to write specific data. Okay, so specific data could be 100, 200, 300. Let's say if I want to write it, I can write data and brackets inside this 0. So 0 is indicating the first index. So as you can see here, 100 is printed successfully. Now this is the first way in which you can define the vector. Okay, by defining the size, by defining all the data, by writing all the data in it. Now the next way is to first of all comment this and write the next way. So second way is this, that fn main, and inside this let data, and then you will define the size of it, data type of it. Data type is going to be string this time, and then you will write vec colon new. Okay, so now this vec colon new is basically showing this that this vector is empty. So previously the vector was like containing some data like 100, 200, but now this time it is empty, because if the data is vector is empty, now you have to manually push the data into it. Okay, so let's write data push 100. Okay, data push 200, data push 300, and so on. Okay, so now if I want to print this, I will simply write like this, then data. Okay, so now this empty vector is filled with some kind of data by pushing the data into it. Okay, so now let's write cargo run. You can see here that it is asking me to, okay, you can see here that it is saying that tries a string conversion method. My mistake was this: I put the string keyword, or sorry, the string data type, but I put the integer data into it. So what I need to do, I need to first of all write the string data here. So that could be fine. Okay, so write Bilal and then toString. It means that it will be convertible to string, and then Khan. Now let's write Khan. Okay, so So now let's remove this, because this time it is accepting string, not integer. So that's what my mistake was. So if I run this, you can see here that it is giving me another error, and that error is justified because this data is by default immutable. It means that this data cannot be changed. So what do I need to do? I need to write mute keyword in order to make the data mutable, so that I can push more data into it. Okay, so this is the point that you need to keep in mind. If I run cargo again, you can see here Bilal and Khan, because this was the empty vector, and then I wanted to modify this. So for modification and for pushing the data, I first of all make it mutable, and made it mutable. After making it mutable, I pushed the data into it. So that's what the how the vector will work in the second way. Although you can like do this like this also. I forgot to mention that, let's say if you write like this. Okay, so let's say if you want to write data push 500, you can also do this. So you can see here that inside it there are some vectors that are defined previously, and then I pushed another data into it, and it will work the same. Okay, if I remove this, clear this, and write mute, because this time it is also asking me to make this data mutable, because this is the predefined data that was already defined, but now I have to modify it again. I have to put more data into it, then I have to write the mutable statement into it, and then write like this. Okay, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Okay, this is the point. And yeah, I hope you understood that what the mutable is and how it works. So yeah, previously I defined the data into it, but here I didn't define the data. Instead, I pushed the data afterwards. Now this is the second way. Now the third way is like a little bit different in it. So let's write the fn main, and then I will write let data. Okay, and then I will write vector u32 is equal to. Now there are going to be two things. The first thing is going to be, let's say 8, and the second thing semicolon, and then after semicolon I will write 3. Okay, so now there are two things in it. So what these things are? So the first thing is the default value. 8 is the default value, and then 3 is the what you can say dynamic array, dynamic length. So let me just show you what this means. Let me just first of all, so this is the default value. It means that if the data is printed and no value is given to it, just like in this case, then the default value is going to be 8. Okay, now the second point is important, because I have defined the dynamic length here. So the dynamic length means that initially the data length is going to be 3. Okay, so here I have defined that the size that the value is fixed and its size cannot be changed. But here I defined the size, or here I defined the length of it, but that length is not fixed length, but this is the dynamic length. It means that initially I will pass the dynamic length, that hey, this length is going to be dynamic, but I can push the data into it. But it is allowing me to do the data or push the data into it, but initially I can define the length of it, or I can define the size of it on the initial stage. But let's say if I want to extend the data, I can also do this, but from the initial stage I can define the length of it, that how the length is going to be. So let's say vector, I forgot this, that vector exclamation mark, and then after that I will put the brackets, define the default value, and then define the dynamic length, not the fixed length. Okay, because this length can be changed also if I want to. So let's write print, let's say what you can say here, data. Okay, and after that like this, but here you can see here that the length is 3. So what I need to do, I need to put the for loop in it. So for I in data, and then after that I will write the I like this, and put the what you can say semicolon here. So now if I cargo run this, you can see here the default value is 8, that is printed 3 times. Okay, and now if the what you can say the length is not defined, then the loop will go on. So this is also helpful if we want to like put the dynamic length in it. Then it will be helpful for us to give a for loop to it, so that after certain length it will stop that loop and it will print the data for us. Okay, so yeah, this is what the data, what you can say, the third way is going to be. Third way. So this is also helpful, in which, let's say if I want to push the data, let's say if I want to let data push, and then if I write what you can say here 9, and then what you can, sorry, this let should be removed from here. This is not required anyway. So data push 10. Okay, so now what it will do here, it will give the result like this. Cargo run. This data should be mutable because I'm pushing the data, or I'm extending this length, so that's why it needs to be mutable. So you can see here 888, these things are printed 3 times. After that it moved to 9, and then it moved to 10th. Okay, but I can also like what you can say here, make it 1, so that 8 is going to be printed 1 time, and then after that I can push the data into it. 8, 9, 10. Okay, so yeah, these are the data that is pushed, and this is the default data that will be printed even if you don't define these push statement. Okay, so I can pop the data also, data pop. Okay, 10. In this time, if I pop the data into it, you will see. Okay, I need to write like this first of all. Pop the data here, and then print the data here like this. I think it will work fine this time. Pop means deleting the data. It will delete the data, right? So now I have to define the index. Sorry, maybe the index is 012. Because the index number is requiring, so I will write why it is giving me the error. So let me just go through it. Oh, sorry, I need to make sure that I don't need to write this 2 here, because it will remove all the data from here. Okay, if I write this and this like 30, in order to make a reference of it. Now this will not give me the error because previously the reference was called. Now we can see here 8, 9, 10, and then the 8 was the 10th is removed from here. 8, 9 and 10th is removed because it has removed this 10th one. Okay, so this is how the pop functionality will work, in which it will delete this thing. Okay, so if I write the pop again, it will remove the 9 also. Now you can see here 8, 9, 10, this is the 8, 9, 10, this is printed, and it is only printing the 8th this time because 9th and 10th is popped, or it is removed. Okay, from this point I hope you understood that how the pop will basically remove one item at a time, and you have to define it like this, and then it will start from the like ending stage, and then it will move to the upper stage like this. Okay, so yeah, these are the 3 ways through which you can define the what you can say vector. And the first one is basically giving the data into it. The second one is giving making it vector the vector empty, and the third way is basically defining the dynamic length, but you can still push the data into it if you want to. So yeah, I hope you understood and liked this video. So if you liked it, then make sure to subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions, then ask those questions in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer all of them. So till then, goodbye.